Okay, so in this screencast, I'm going to discuss the differences of accommodations and modifications in assessing student knowledge. Test accommodations affect the way a student assesses the curriculum and material. The point of providing accommodations is to level the playing field for students with disabilities. Common accommodations include modification of test preparation, methods, or responding to the test setting and timing or scheduling of a test. So an accommodation is assessing a student on the same knowledge that all students had received, but you're just more of scaffolding the way that they receive that information to be assessed on the same curriculum. So examples of accommodations could be an alternative testing location. I personally had accommodations for the ACT, and so I took the ACT in a private classroom where I wasn't distracted by people leaving the room, so a student could go to maybe a smaller area to take a test without distractions. Another accommodation could be extended time or taking a break during an assessment, or the assessment could even, go over a couple of days. Another way could have a larger font, like the actual format of the text could be larger. The test could be given to the student orally, as well as they could read it visually. Another way could be simplifying the directions and wording of the test. So instead of giving several sentences of directions, you could give very simple cues. Technological support is also important. You could give a student a dictionary, a word processor. Some students that are visually impaired definitely rely on a magnification device to aid their assessment. Okay, so now let's talk about modification. A test modification directly alters the material or curriculum. A modification changes what is being taught or expected from the student. So there could be objectives within the lesson that you gave your student that you would not be assessing the student on, and that would be a modification. So examples of a modification are removing a difficult question on a test. Open notes testing, so you could be giving your student an aid while they were taking the assessment, and that would be a modification. Another way to modify a test would be modifying their grade by scaling it according to their IEP possibly, or definitely eliminating some test questions. Another way to modify for a student would be to give them an alternative assignment or project, and writing shorter papers. So in a modification, we would be directly changing the curriculum that the student is learning and being assessed on. Okay, so during my assessment that I have planned throughout the semester, if I was assessing an ESL student that was in kindergarten on a math standard, I could provide them with extra time to take that assessment. I could orally read the assessment to the child. I could use simplified instructions. I could also use comparative text for an ESL or ELL student with their first language. And I could use simplified instructions. If I had a child with a learning disability, I would most certainly want to provide that child with extra time for the assessment. I could orally read the assessment to the child. I could provide a more secluded location with maybe an aide or the special education teacher. Larger font of the assessment could be an asset to this child, and giving simplified instructions.